And I, the one, the only, the Krendar. Say hi, Krendar.
Hello.
No, no. Refresh the page when a new video starts on a
Alright.
YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. Um, pause on the site and we begin. But yeah, we'll be playing some Dawn of War 2. Um, look, here's me,
For the Emperor.
Emperor, Imperator,
Well, it's Emperor.
Pra with an
Emprah.
Emperor as Oh yeah, I can hear you. No problem. Okay, so with that said, we are playing new campaign. All right, so what difficulty do you want to go for? Recruit,
Yeah,
sergeant,
just
captain, or Primarch?
I think just right, whatever the standard one was. It's like a sergeant.
Yeah, it's sergeant. Enter your name for your force commander. Now we need to think of something that's both witty and charming, but also snazzy.
Oh.
Like my character in Fallout 3 is called Buttercunt. So so we have to go in that sort of vein.
How about honey tits?
Honey tits. So, ooh, might help if I actually know how to spell honey tits. Actually, it looks like a random virus in Plague Inc. Honey tits is
Honeynitis.
spray. All right, so do you want to skip by the the video or what?
Now let's give the people some background.
Giant statues kill alien things while being grim. There.
Wog.
War and generally speaking are. Mm. Hmm.
Look at this generic fucker.
I like this 90s boy band haircut.
Yeah. He does look like a '90s boy band singer that got turned into an Astartes.
Um, they were running low on recruits that day.
Yeah.
Commander Honey Tits. You are Honey Tits, a space marine recently promoted to the rank of force commander. I just also realized my generic character doesn't actually look quite the same as my model. His face is a little different. You've been sent to Calderis to help Captain Davian Thule stave off massive orc invasion. I was reading that. Rawr!
Deviant Thul's a good boy.
He is. Let's hope he doesn't get turned into a dreadnought or anything.
That would be sad.
Yeah, he's actually the main one for the Karava campaign in Dark Crusade
Oh yeah.
because orcs are dicks. Oh come on, he's having a great time shooting down orcs.
I always just loved the idea of the how the space marines were like, how do we deploy our people to the planet? Put them inside an
Thud.
even bigger gun.
Yeah. Doom Marine does that in Doom Eternal. He just aims towards Mars and fires his gun into it.
Oh, I need to get that game soon.
You and me both, buddy. Oh, it looks so tasty.
It's gonna be my next game that I stream after the current one.
You have trouble. Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
All right. So what are you seeing? Are you seeing just me moving my camera around, or what?
Nope, I don't see your camera moving. So I guess I'll control Tarkus then.
I guess so. Try to move Tarkus and see what happens.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. So yeah, Krendar's squad. You get Tarkus. I really like Tarkus. He's so useful.
I mean, you can have them later when we got more people.
Yeah.
I'll take uh, I'll take the Devastator Marine guy and the whoever our fourth will be.
That'll be the most annoying one of all the assault marines, the ones that die in 5 seconds.
Initially, at least, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a long time to really justify them in a combat. Oh, and then you've got the scouts, which are surprisingly good if you want to go down the scouty route.
But very, very fragile.
They
Actually,
are.
you know what? Give me a second. Oh, maybe this is a bad moment. I need to turn my volume down.
Okay,
This game is loud as shit.
that's why I did it before the start of it. Don't worry,
Yeah,
my one dude who was smart enough to bring a big sword will go into this melee.
there we go.
This game's quite old now, and it still holds up pretty damn well.
Oh, I replay this game every once in a while because it is just so good.
Same. Although I
I
am
like the
getting
way the
sick.
weapons feel and everything.
Yeah, it does. I love even the sound of them, how they reload and shit.
Like the laser cannon and the heavy bolter just feel so
Oh, the
good.
heavy bolter is just great. I love hold on. Nope. I forgot I'm your healer as well. Um you got grenades? Oh no, you don't get them quite yet.
Oh, I have them. I'm just a bit lazy about using them.
Early on, you might as well just spam them. You get so many
And
replacements.
yeah, in this mission, there's no reason not to.
Absolutely. Plus, you want to get as much XP as possible.
Well, isn't
Uh,
that team based?
it is, but the squad that does the more killing gets the lion's share.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's early on doesn't make much difference, but in the final few missions that can make all the difference in the world.
By the way, you've played through Chaos Rising, I take it.
Oh, Chaos Riots and Retribution.
I really love the way they handled Chaos Rising, where
You get
it's
corrupted.
spoilers for anybody who might watch this later, I guess. But any there's a traitor, and any single person on your team could be the traitor,
Yeah,
and every single one of them actually has a good nuanced reason why it happened. Like they all have different reasons for it.
I think in canon wise, it's meant to be Avitus because he's the only one that doesn't appear in Retribution.
Okay,
Uh,
that would make sense.
because
But
also he's like the most angry one anyway. He's the one the most dismissive.
yeah, but it's all programmed in a way that makes sense. Like if it's the librarian, it's because he got possessed by a demon. If it's Tarkus, it's because he got corrupted by
No, Tarkus is
a
the only one that
chaos
can't be.
weapon.
He's the only one
What?
that can't. He's the only one that can't be corrupted.
Because he's in retribution. But I mean,
Yeah, and they put it down like his will is just like too pure. He's too.
right?
He's too.
But because they made Chaos Rising first, they didn't know about that yet.
No,
So it can be Tarkus, but
no. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a
it
lot
makes
of
sense in
retconning that
canon.
goes on. But then again, if you
Yeah.
if you really want to do that, just look at Dark Crusade. Like they mention it in like a little bit of flavor text in this game for one of the weapons that the Blood Ravens didn't win, but they don't say who won. So they kept that pretty vague.
Hmm. But yeah, I just like the fact that whoever turns out to be the traitor, there's a different explanation for why, and it always makes sense.
I also like how they all have their own unique dialogue when you have to fight them.
Yeah, and
I
I
particularly love
found out.
Cyrus. Cyrus is one. It's just basically like the most anime Steve Bloom you can
Yeah,
get. Like, come brothers. It's like an episode of
yeah,
Dragon
right.
Ball Z. Or hell, Spike turning to chaos.
But I mean, yeah, it's fun that way, and I figured out how the game determines who the traitor is, and you can set it to whoever you want if you
If
want it to be a specific person.
if not, it's the two side characters of Gordian
Yeah, well,
and your tech marine.
it's whoever has the most corruption points on them.
Yeah, but
But if everybody's totally pure,
pure,
then it's going to be the Tech Marine NPC.
yeah, and Gordian is always going to be. He's like the patient zero. Um, and of course, then it all goes back up to the main plot of all three games with the Kyrus. I love Kyrus's speech at the end of at the very last battle.
I don't remember.
Oh, dude, it's he basically just gives a message out to all of the corrupted blood ravens, talking about how the universe is pointless, so you might as well just kill for the sake of it. Blood for the blood god! And of course, his voice is starting to warp and twist, and it's just it's such a metal moment.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be you
Also,
there,
Retribution
Krendar.
was very good as well. Huh?
That'll be you. Grab
Oh,
grenades.
I forgot that I didn't. I wasn't looking at this part of the map, so I forgot that we had this objective over here.
Yeah, Retribution was pretty good, but
I quite liked playing the Imperial Guard
I
because
love the guard. This
the
is a
Lord
rule.
Commander guy was so cool.
He's like always hunting things. That would make a good
I mean that
trophy.
too,
That
but
will.
I like he both has like an interesting and kind of smarmy attitude, but also is a genuinely good guy.
Mm. I always preferred the trooper guy who's there's like the sergeant. He had
Yeah, he's good too.
a very sort of Dan Abnett sort of vibe to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Duh, duh, duh.
Oh, that's another character arc that was interesting. What's her face? The in this game, the Meridian Planetary Governor's aide lady.
Oh,
I quite liked her.
Dariosa or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. She's got a really good character arc because when you first meet her, she's just an irritating cunt.
Yeah, and then she's like, "My
But
bad." Even though she's talking to fucking superhumans, you think she'd show a little bit of respect.
but uh, but but I enjoy her sass, and when
Realizes, whoop, everything's gonna go
when she
crazy.
realizes her mistake, she owns up to her mistake and she becomes cool.
She does, but then she's also like, yeah, but as for the governor, he's kind of buggered off. As it turns out, he made a pact with the dark gods, as you do.
Well, I'll let you handle the
The
managing
upgrades.
these two characters because you're going to be controlling these guys later.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Okay, so now I tend to get rid of a lot of the excess weapons. I think Avitus is most powerful when he's wielding something like a missile launcher. So all the
Yeah.
bolters are going.
Well,
Um,
I was gonna say you should give them.
Tarkus.
Why do we have so much stuff?
Oh, because I beat the game prior, so they're like little rewards. But the thing is, there's so many of them, you can't access them for a while that they're just free XP.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we're gonna get more drops anyways as
Oh,
well.
so many more. This is just the first one. So, by the way,
Might as well give
can
him
you
Purple
actually?
of the Lion there.
There's one thing I have to do real quick. My screen is too big. I don't like it being that
Said
huge.
nobody ever.
I know. I like. The fact is that how will people see me? Oh, that's right. They'll use their eyes. Yes. Battle cry. All right. I like my dude to basically be. Where are the Terminator honors? Does he get Terminator honors? I think he does by default. Yes. So, you want to be gearing all your characters early on to be able to unlock Terminator power armor. Because once that shit hits the fan, once you
Terminator is pretty good.
once you get Terminator power armor with a chain gun, the game's finished. Especially once you have that missile launcher pack, the
Does
pauldron pack.
Tarkus not get that?
No, he has it automatically, so he's going to be the default Terminator. But you
Oh,
can
okay.
equip everyone else if you know what you're doing.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm letting you do his stats. So I'm just looking at him.
okay. Well, before I level up, I'm going to get rid of all this extra shit that we don't need right now.
Oh, you know what I did once, just because of how fragile he ends up being. What's his name again? The guy with the assault squad.
Um, uh, uh,
Anyway,
Thaddeus.
a lot of the times he just ends up getting his ass killed because he's always rushing out front.
Yeah.
So I remember doing one playthrough where I actually spec'd him for ranged instead.
How did that work out?
Pretty well, actually.
I don't mind that when he's in
I
like
would use his
combat.
assault leap to get out of trouble rather than to get into it,
Alright.
and otherwise he would shoot people. He
Um,
wouldn't be as good a shooter as others, obviously, but
no.
he could do it all right.
I don't. I just basically give him tons of health. Especially now that we're not playing like on recruit or anything like that. So weird. I can't use the commander items, but fuck it. Let's throw them in here.
You're probably too high level, right?
Yeah.
What do you have on
14.
that right now, or what did you have?
Well, I'm level 4 now, so it's like level
It's
7.
it's so weird that they give you all these items for beating the game, and so you're just like power leveling your guy at the beginning.
That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Um,
I always like giving them the I think it's the banner one that gives you the
yeah.
heal.
The he oh that I
Or
spam
whenever
the
I get a med
hell out of
packs.
that. Yeah, I spam the bloody. No, no, you still should use the med packs.
Well,
Together
I'm saying you don't
you.
have to rely on
Oh
them.
no,
Like
no,
it's not your only
absolutely.
heal at that point.
Veteran squad. So I'm gonna aim towards getting him up to be veteran squad.
Oh, because also it's nice to be able to heal without having to expend consumable items. You can
Ve-
heal with energy instead,
yeah, that is that's
and that way you've got your med packs as your emergency button.
mm,
Also, Bill is
um.
here. Hello, Bill.
Oh, hi Bill. Welcome to the show. We have Krendar here tonight. Well, this afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Let us. All right, I'm gonna spread it out between his butt cheeks. Besides that, I'm gonna spread it out between his health and his uh,
Well, so you're going hard
melee.
on health for
Uh,
Tarkus there.
Tarkus, hell yeah. He's meant to be a rock. He's meant to. One of his skills
Yeah.
is taunt. So,
Don't forget him to get him at least some bolter specialist later though.
oh well, absolutely. But I want to get him up to I shall not fall. Um, I mean, look at that. So long as tactical advance is active, Tarkus fights through the worst of injuries and cannot be incapacitated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I want to aim for that. And then, of course, I'm going to go through Bolter Specialists. But that'll be pretty far ahead. As you can see here, we got through a lot of weapons. Except maybe this.
Yeah,
Okay.
all that junking, all that stuff really gave us an
Huge
initial
boost.
level up boost.
This is what I think it's intended for. Because
The
a
next
lot of
couple of
times.
missions are going to be easy as hell.
Yeah. Although, remember, the enemies level up with you.
Do they?
As far as I'm aware, they do, yeah.
I don't know. I've never. I don't think my game did this, so I don't remember having this giant boost at the beginning.
Do you notice what a lot of games do? Not as much these days, but they have like animations, but it's for like dialogue, but it's only 2 or 3 animations that are looped.
Hmm.
Like, look at Davian's
Yeah.
face; he's just kind of doing the same 3 things over and
It's
over
like they
again.
took it from Warcraft 3 or something.
Yeah, but that made more sense because the engine really couldn't handle that much, so they either had to do pre-rendered or use the character models, and the character models are. The original Dawn of War was terrible for that. They should have never done cutscenes with the actual characters that up close. These mutated jaws rocking back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that was an ugly game. Great game, but ugly as fuck. The engine could not do.
Man, I would really like to see a Warcraft 4 though, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know if they would ever do it because they're doing all their story advancement in World of Warcraft.
Oh, Warcraft. My bad. I thought you meant Dawn of War. Yeah. I'm not quite sure about
Although I mean,
Warcraft.
if a Dawn of War 4 happened and it was like Dawn of War 2, I would be
I
extremely
hopefully
happy.
they'd learn their lesson. That's what I really hope they would.
Did you hear something? Sounds like Steve Bloom.
Hi, Steve. You big old
Who
cheese
gave
pile.
Wolverine a gun?
Hell, who gave Spike an emo complex?
That too. All right, well, I'm still Tarkus for now, though.
Oh yeah, I've got him. I've got.
You can hand him off to me later, maybe. I think if you want,
Yeah, maybe.
unless you want to leave me with Tarkus. Either way is fine. I know you
Well,
have your
I don't
sort.
want to gimp you out. Who do you spam when you rely on this game most of all? Who do you
When I do what? Sorry.
when you play the game? Who do you normally prefer to play with?
Oh well, I mean, I usually just have everybody selected at once most of the time.
You just mob them.
I just mob them. I just select everybody and do attack area. You know, like the move attack.
Yeah,
A lot of the time, because I'm too lazy to do overly fiddly stuff.
I know, right? Later on with higher difficulties, I'm sure you have to do that, but
Probably, but I don't play higher difficulties.
same.
There's our boy.
Good old
He's one of my
Avitus.
favorites, though.
Yeah, I love his anger, but I mean that really does play into the idea that. Oh yeah, I was meant
I
to
just love
use.
heavy bolters and I just like heavy weapons in general.
Boop, 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 boop. Thank you,
And even if you give him a missile launcher, his squad still has
Bolters.
bolters. Here, I'll get this thing. I also
Generic
like his
thing.
voice acting.
Yeah, he's really big.
Oh, see, the game gave him to me. They know he's my fave.
Ha, nice. Now him, I do spam the living shit out of the ammo, the range attack. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I like it when you can get him to the point where he can set up without. He doesn't have to set up his weapon anymore.
Yeah, he just fires. That just is so useful. Put him in the. I'd put him in the building, and when the orcs attack, they'll be.
Yeah.
Do, do, do. There's so many little things about this game I absolutely love. Like watching the characters reload their guns. There's a real like weight to it. If you zoom in close, you see like a Space Marine reload his bolter. You can actually hear him go.
I just like the actual DACA noises, like the sound of the heavy bolter firing.
Yeah. In fact, they actually sound more like orc guns. I think the heavy bolter does. It actually does sound like it's making the daka daka noise.
Well, but the orc guns are human guns. They're
Sometimes
just
they
solar
start off.
bolters.
Well, they start off and they're like, "This ain't orky enough. Needs more stuff."
Well, that's true. They do fuck around with it.
And they just warp it into like whatever, and it still works because orcs are all a massive psychers.
Yep. If a human took it back and tried to fire it, it would jam him or fall apart immediately.
True, but if a human with even a modicum of psychic power believes the gun will work enough, it will actually fire. At least according to a lot of the books.
Mm-hmm. From what I heard, that's also why you don't see any orcs falling to chaos because they don't believe they can.
No, they can, however, be possessed by chaos, but it has to be like really specific. There has to be like only a handful of orcs and a really powerful demon, and it's usually one that's completely lied to them. Like, this ain't stinky chaos. This is Gork and Mork. Green
Yeah,
is
and it
good.
works because they believe it's okay.
Yeah, they still, however, do get possessed by like demons
Yeah,
and
but
shit.
it's only because they let themselves be.
Yeah. What's the name of that comic
Securing
series?
the Hamlet.
Yeah, you want to be. Yeah, I'll put Cyrus up there as well.
Actually, here. I like
Protect
how that one
arms.
guy's just kneeling down behind the other guys, like he's not really in cover at all.
Well, they are in cover. They're behind a bunch of Space Marines. Space Marines are movable cover in their own right.
That's true, especially when they get Terminator armor.
Oh God, yeah. Have you? Do you watch any of those fan made sort of animations for like 40K?
I've caught one or two. Like I don't seek them out on purpose, but
It's Avatar's lost something.
yeah, I know.
God, grenades suck. I wish there was a manner like you could quickly throw it back or whatever. Here, I'll charge. Whee! There's one called like Death of Hope that's fairly new. It's from Germany, and oh my fucking god, they've made 40K horror again. It's
Oh,
like
nice.
it's actually 30K. It's set in a ship, a word bearer ship, yeah, during the heresy, and a bunch of ultramarines failed to take the ship, and now they're being tortured by the by the traders, and it's so little tiny details like this, the mutated servitors warping in and out of reality as they're walking by, and the
Oh,
legionnaires don't give a fuck about it. One just bashes one away. Um,
that would be an interesting way to do a game, actually. Like, set it up like a horror game, except that you're a space marine and you don't give a fuck.
be a light lord. Be, like try to convince a whole planet to like surrender to the forces of chaos. You know that game Cult Simulator? There should be a 40K version of that.
Well, that too, but I was thinking, like, set up a game that's kind of
Like a
like an Aliens style
oh,
rendition,
you're being hunted by
except that as the protagonist, you're a space marine, so you're stomping through it like you don't give a shit, and it's almost like a demake of the horror, because it's like, this is a situation that would be horrible for anybody else, but now I'm the one that's their problem.
you know one thing that is so underutilized in this franchise, but would be so great. A first person shooter.
All right, did you want to swap Tarkus and Cyrus, or do you want to keep Cyrus, or what?
Um you like Avidus, don't you?
Yeah, I like Avidus,
Well then you can
but I'm
keep
talking about my other
Avidus.
guy.
Oh, Tarkus.
You
Yeah.
wanted Tarkus, didn't you?
Yeah, give
All
us
right, so
Tarkus and you can have Cyrus.
how do I do that?
I
I think you
don't
have to do it. Maybe
I'm not sure how though.
I'm not seeing a way to do it.
Maybe when you deploy for a mission.
I didn't see a thing for that, but then again, that was all on your screen.
Yeah, up here in the corner. Select squads that will deploy on the next mission. I suppose because I've only got four, I can't really.
All right, but
Damn.
it might be on that screen here. I'll do my management of Avitus right now. In the meantime,
Yeah, you had what you want to have this. I I can assume you're gonna spam the living shit out of like range, which is a good idea. Um,
obviously.
yeah. Uh, let's see. Let's give
Well,
them some
DoW
generic.
wants to shoot puny humans as orcs, therefore he should play Dawn of War 2 Retribution then, because there's an orc campaign.
There is indeed. In fact, most of the Dawn of War games had an orc campaign with gore guts. Oh, gore guts, you were fun. I liked actually the first time you see him and he's fighting against the Chaos God, the Chaos Lord Krull,
Hmm.
and they have this sort of like witty. First of all, they're friends and then they're enemies, and they end up having this huge duel. It's really cool. He ends up having his head on a pike, and it's considered a holy artifact for Chaos to retrieve back. Um. Okay, let's see. That's as far as I can tell. Everything. You can't equip the Mastercraft grenades. Tarkin should equip the. Oh, he can't. Oh, not usable with. Okay, so you unequip the frag grenade pack and equip the Mastercraft grenades because they're just better. There.
Yeah, then we can give the other grenades to,
Mike.
I guess, Avitus, because he's the only one who doesn't have an accessory,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and we can swap it out later.
Yeah.
Like if an accuracy item comes up later, I'll give him that instead.
Mm. Like
But yeah, see
as
if you can change the squads.
squad loadout screen. No, all I've got is squad loadout screen. My campaign rank. Squad deployment screen, which is blurred out. Star map, which is blurred them out.
Maybe it's just not letting us do it right now.
Maybe I think we might need more than one. Maybe like well, more
Yeah,
than
like
just
we
one,
probably have to wait until we get our fifth person.
which is the not the next one. But so you want to do gut
Or a couple
wrench?
missions.
Let's have a look at gut wrencher first,
I think we have to do these two missions, and then it'll
and
be the
then
one that opens up after that,
that's right.
if I remember correctly.
I want one of these times for an orc war to descend on a planet, and it's not being manipulated by anyone. It's always the Eldar need them to fight other people. Chaos drew them in. Like just let the orcs be orcs on their own. Like they were like,
I know, right?
Umi's over there. Let's kill him. Ruh.
I mean, I know they're easy to manipulate, but you can have them do their own thing too.
Yeah, maybe. Even fantasy. Even did you ever play Mark of Chaos?
No,
That's a
I don't
hell of a
think
good
so.
game.
Which one
Um,
was that one?
it's a fantasy one, set before the end times, years before the end times, thank God. But it's had a sequel, and it had a bunch. You could play as orcs, and even then, they're being manipulated by the Dark Elves. I'm like, for fuck's sake, orcs can do their own shit.
Yeah. No, I don't think I played that, but there was one Warhammer Fantasy one I played that was that played. It was like a tactical thing, that tactical actiony thing. It played a lot like Valkyria Chronicles.
Oh,
Um,
like
yep.
Vermintide, not Vermintide, more
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're
Mo-
on the
Mo-
right track.
Morheim, Morheim.
Mordheim.
Yeah.
Mordheim.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that
want to play as
that
Slanesh, or do you want to actually be Slanesh?
that
I
was a
mean,
good game, but holy crap, it was long.
I've only seen bits of it. I've always wanted to
I,
play
I've
Vermintide, but
I haven't gotten very far into it, but I played a lot of hours of it.
uh,
It takes a long
let's
time,
let's do Sky Killer.
but it was kind of neat that you had the option to play as the Skaven.
Nice. You can do it as Skaven in Market Chaos. They have a whole campaign.
Yeah. You
Uh,
actually build in
Total War.
they do have some noise marines in this game, right? So that's
Yeah,
a
and
bit of
the in
Slaanesh.
yeah, that's Slanesh, but they're not under their own banner. I want that. I'd love if you could play as like a game where you're in like just it's just this, they're all its own planet, its own hive world, and you're either as the Inquisition or the local authorities, and or else you're as a Chaos or a Gene Stealer or a Necron cult, and your job is to take over the planet.
You know what could be interesting as well?
It,
Imagine a imagine a chaos centered one that has four factions to play as, but each faction is one of the chaos gods.
that'd be interesting.
So like you've got a Slaanesh campaign, you've got a Khorne campaign.
You could easily do that too if you don't want any alternatives. I'll throw the demolition charge. Just keep them away
Oh,
from the
okay.
yeah. I'll throw
Yeah,
that.
I'll grenade this other one then.
Yep. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1, and Shazam.
Oh yeah, give him that heavy bolter.
Um. Yeah, you could easily do a solely chaos themed one by simply having the world set in the war, and maybe the gods are looking for a champion, and you have to
It doesn't even have
convince
to be in the warp. It could just be
like,
chaos worlds or worlds that are imperial, but you are invading.
and maybe you're like fighting over the spoils.
I just like the idea of it, being a game like this where you've got multiple factions to play as, but the factions are all chaos factions.
Yeah, so they're kind of the same, but also enemies. I mean, sometimes you have in Retribution when you're playing as Chaos, you actually have scenes where for no reason other than their chaos, do they just start attacking the other Chaos
Mm-hmm.
because the gods want to test their to see how weak or strong you are. You know.
Yep, that's a thing.
I also think that we're overdue of getting just a Imperial Guard game. Because especially when all those modern day shooters were a big thing, having a bunch of like regular troops
Yeah,
that would have really worked out well. Especially if you then have it like regular troops, but there's billions of you, and you're not like a hero at all. You're just vaguely able to survive. Maybe up against like chaos cultists or gene stealers, or like the Tyranids. Like you try to have a scene where you're just firing against millions of Tyranids pouring at you.
Goddamn nids.
Nah. Fucking clinkies!
Actually, the game that was just called Space Marine did a really good job of portraying the difference between Space Marines and Imperial Guard.
Yeah, I loved Space. I played a complete version on this channel.
Because those times where you actually meet up with the Imperial Guard, you're
For starters, they're all looking
so,
up at you because you're like a foot and a half taller than them.
like the top of their head is at your shoulder at best.
Um, I really enjoyed Space Marine, and you know what else? Very rare for me. I really enjoyed the multiplayer in Space Marine.
Didn't play that.
It was surprisingly fun. I remember one time I got on top of a stairway with a heavy bolter, and I mowed down 9 dudes coming at me. It was just glorious.
Although I never really liked how the laser cannon felt in that game. It felt weak.
It felt like a pumped up sniper rifle. Yeah, it should have be eviscerating the side of tanks for God's sake.
Yeah.
I've always loved meltas, multi meltas.
Although just about everything else in that game felt great. Like you stomped around in your huge armor, and the chainsword was awesome.
Yeah, I love the sort of not the glory kill. What do you call them? The when you went into like pure death mode.
I know what you mean.
Like cleanse and purge, and then you just go into this glowy mode.
Yeah, and you got health back for every kill.
That's right. It's the only way you can really keep alive. Doom, very similar to Doom now, thinking of it.
It's the only way you healed, yeah.
Well, you healed over time, but it was...
Well, no, you had a shield.
Yeah, that's right.
And the energy shield replenished over time, but your
and then you got like...
The only way to get your health back was glory mode. Or whatever it was called. I think it was some sort of anger thing, like it was a fury. Or
yeah, it was... A lot of games have done stuff like that before.
Yeah, but Warhammer especially likes to make a virtue out of righteous anger.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's Space Marines' MO, you know?
That bunker is double fucked.
Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, what a way. This is why we should talk more.
I'll get the one. I'll get the one in the back.
Okay. I'll suppress that squad back there.
It's okay though, because remember, every time we pick up a support item, it gives you a jetpack and me a grenade. So.
That's right. Whoa, you need to get yourself healed though.
Stop being suppressed. There's nobody shooting at you anymore.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yay.
I like this orc just hanging around in the corner doing nothing.
Yeah, I always thought that it was a bit stupid that like orcs just don't just swamp you for the sake of it.
I mean, it would be in character.
I mean, they hear gunshots and they're like, "There's a fight over there."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want to get stuck in with me boys.
Want to get stuck in with the boys.
Well, it looks like Cyrus got hurt pretty bad on that one.
Yeah, but he didn't lose anyone. That's more important, I always think.
He was about to, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A boot. Canadian folks, where we have a Canadian here.
He was a boot to, eh?
Yeah. When I was in Toronto, I just had to constantly make a mental note of it every time I heard it. And A as well.
You get like a running tally going?
Yeah, I stopped after 30. I realized that no, this is they're not just gonna start laughing and say like, could you imagine we all talk like that? No, that's for the tourists. This is a real Canadian voice. No, instead you
stories are all true.
Well, I've met plenty of Canadians in my time, but I've never actually been to Canada, so I have to say I didn't like getting around Toronto. That was surprisingly difficult.
Toronto's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But Toronto is basically the Canadians' version of New York, so.
It felt it. I went to that version of Times Square, and You have the largest unending street in the world, apparently, there.
Do we?
That's what I was told. The, like one big avenue or whatever. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. Just looking at it, I'm like, okay, there might be some truth to that. I was going to eat Popeyes there, but I had to wait until Chicago for that honor.
Do you ever just stubbornly refuse to grenade a building and just sit back and falter it to death?
Yes, it's something that's you wonder why, but then, god damn, Cyrus, I should have I should have put a little bit more effort into your goddamn health. There we are. It's more
I like how this hut
satisfying.
over here, like this Adobe hut, looks kind of like a Space Marine helmet.
Yeah, maybe a plague marine.
Yeah, like a really caricaturized one. Or shall we sweep east and get the orcs over there?
We can, but also remember this is a sort of like a timed mission as well.
How
Like
so?
when you get your bonus to the XP boost at the end of it,
Oh, okay.
your time. You get your time, people surviving, how many orcs you kill, and I forget what
I
the
usually just
fourth one
sweep through the
is.
place and kill everybody on the map.
All right, I'm going to throw at the tower there.
Oh,
You throw it at the Adobe build. Oh, never mind.
I had pushed the button literally the exact second you said you were gonna do it.
Womp womp
I'm
womp
like, oh.
womp womp. Huzzah! Yay!
Ah!
He's got that chain chopper.
Yep.
Yeah, their guns, they just don't sound like they're doing DACA, but Avitus's ones do. Avitus's gun does.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like it's making DACA. But this one, it's.
Something so satisfying about that heavy bolter noise.
I know, I would just. There's this game, it's very bare bones. It's like almost like a text based game. It's called Chapter Master. And it's a mod for a game very similar to it called Intergalactic Empire Management, and it's you can fiddle with every nuance of your chapter, from its origins to if it's a fleet base to what sort of weapons it has. And I just selected everyone to have Terminator armor and everyone to have like
Oh.
every single person to have chain gun. And then we attacked our first orc, army, which came in the form of like a massive red wave. And it just said, "Your chain guns open up with righteous fury. You do 100% damage."
Ridiculous.
Don't forget, while it doesn't say you can directly, you can actually suppress um, bosses. You'll see like the moving, how they move and shit. Whoa.
Oh.
It's not very complicated. It's just kind of monotonous, isn't it? Because these are just really the only attacks they got. These area of effect attacks. Which means you have to
Yeah,
move a
it's
lot.
basically just stand there and then dodge the glowing spot.
Hmm. Like that, for example. Move, 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 move. There. We are cutting them to bits, though.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had an area of attack, like area of effect attack. That'd be good. We eventually do in the form of like the orbital bombardment, but it's not the same.
It's one of the things I liked in the Chaos Rising when you get to add the librarian to the team.
Yeah, he kind of just scorches the area with lightning.
Also, these bosses are ridiculously bullet sponge.
They are. Near the end of it though, they're not too bad. Yeah, if you look down here at the bottom, he says he's level 4, and our characters are like level 5, so they do kind of level up with you.
Yeah, I've never checked that before.
Took me ages to see it. Not yet.
I wonder if the cannon fodder during the mission is like that or not.
We can check in the next one. He's nearly dead now.
At least Avatus has time to set up his weapon while we're waiting for the guy to land.
Pretty much.
And Furious
No.
Absolution, that is such a 40k name for something.
Hell, that's probably what they call their goddamn toilets.
No, that's the Furious Ablution.
Ass pollution.
Mm-hmm.
The Golden Throne. That's what they call it.
Sounds right to me. Right back, I just have to go visit the Golden Throne.
Where's the Emperor?
Yep. Although I definitely like Furious Ablutions.
You can have two things.
That sounds like a rather angry pooping. Which is how Space Marines do all of their poops, I think. Efficiently and angrily. Yeah, I think if they did the Chaos Factions game, I probably would definitely really enjoy the Slaanesh team because I do love me some noise marines.
I also just love me some overly I want some overly campy Space Marines in dialogue. Like it's the most un-Space Marine thing you could do. All right, now.
All right, let me do the management on Cyrus then,
Okay.
since I'll be taking him over pretty much anyways later.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about you. I spammed the living hell out of the locator beacon for the turret.
The turrets are useful.
Mm. Especially in the defensive missions.
Yeah,
Uh,
I usually only use them on the defensive missions because I'm too lazy to use them all the time. But
every once in a while, there's a useful time to have them, especially those final few, that final last mission with the final last mission, that final mission with the you have to put the poison in and you have to hold
oh
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely spam them on that one for sure.
Uh, by the way, folks, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're not already done so. And
Subscribe.
subscribe. Check the description down below for our Discord and also my Instagram so you can see things that I take pictures of, which are not much because I'm currently housebound. It is a sad, sad state that the world finds itself in. But we have 40k, so
Indeed.
it's okay. Um, Orcs are too stupid to attack things. Sergeant
Even though that's all
Avitus.
they ever do, yeah.
They literally cannot do anything else but fight to some degree or another.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, you read the War of the Beast, which is
That's actually one of their I think they have a mechanic in Gladius where they start taking penalties if they're not attacking things.
cool.
But yeah, like I said, it's even though it's like a civilization game, one thing I like with that is every every faction has some differences. Like there's a number of different
Yeah.
resources that you collect, but some resources don't. Some factions don't use some of the resources.
Hmm. I saw Arch play it, and I thought it was interesting. Although the last game I played that was very sort of 4Xy was Pandora First Contact, a very underappreciated game.
I've tried that and I wasn't really super into it.
Did you ever play Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri?
Yeah, I like that.
I thought it was its spiritual successor. Fuck that Beyond Earth shit they put out. That was far closer
Yeah.
to what it was. I thought
Oh, Beyond Earth got a lot better when the expansion came out.
still haven't played it yet. The expansion.
It makes things somewhat better.
I like certain elements of Beyond Earth. I once got into a very, very cool war with the Chinese faction that just kind of eventually I had to cut down an entire jungle and spam like this giant death walker in order to win. And they denied it to me by nuking their whole city just to say "fuck you, bitch." Which I was like, that's kind of cool AI, but the game itself, yeah, no, that I was hoping for more. I really was.
And that was a good time for a grenade.
Very good time.
I tell you. You want to death charge the tower?
Yeah, you can do it. I'm gonna send my character.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my character. Oh yeah, Cyrus. I'm gonna send Cyrus up to. Oh, here. I'll send him down. Oh, you gotta get Avitus not dead. He's in a bad place. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Is there a beacon we can take over nearby?
yep.
Let's do
Okay,
that.
gonna hurl this. But also, you can send him back to the drop pod. He'll spawn back
Yeah,
there.
but
Bloop,
this
bloop,
is
bloop,
closer
bloop,
though.
bloop, bloop, bloop. There we go.
We'll just push forward for glory.
Yeah. Push forward to glory. A thing that will work. That was some low energy humor right there.
Well, you're just keeping the channel on brand, aren't you?
I, I, I channeled in a little bit of Shabisky there, real quick. Huh? What?
What?
Huh? Huh? Wait, what? Huh?
I mean, you can tell the guy is doing that on purpose to annoy people. He's just a big troll.
He
But
is.
he needs more attention.
Until you find out that he doesn't. He thought Africa was a country.
A lot of people do though, sadly.
uh,
Have you heard the debate over whether or not Australia is a continent?
yeah, that's been going on since I was a kid. That's
It's sad.
eh, honestly, a continent or a island, it makes no difference. All that matters
No, the
is,
version I've heard is it can't be a continent because it's a country.
oh yeah, I've heard people say that, but I've also heard they can't be a continent because it's not connected to another continent.
Which is stupid. Here you go, Tarkus. Get your man back. All right, we're next, boss. What are your orders, honey tits?
Well, Honey Tits, your force commander and best friend in the whole wide world, says that we should go and take the. How about we go to the right and take that listening post?
The listening post for com
Yeah,
relay, whatever it is. Yeah.
yeah. The Rosarium doesn't work. It's like shit for the chapel. It's not really all that useful. Every once in a while, launching an artillery strike always has some pluses.
Yeah. Avatars can get behind the idea of artillery strikes.
Damn right. Cyrus, get your ass back there. This is where the big boys need to play.
Yeah, Cyrus is a delicate little flower.
He does better emoing from afar.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of, I should get him a goddamn sniper rifle because when you do level up and give him a decent sniper rifle, that shit he can really OP.
Nuts to yes.
What do you know of nuts? You don't have any genitals. You're orcs. You come from spores.
You're incredibly burly Ken dolls.
I remember older like lore of orcs. Once a year they'd go out to the desert looking for something. Ugh. No.
That is a statement rich with possibilities, isn't it?
Rich wouldn't be the word I'd use.
Sticky?
Moist.
Moist. Oh, yes.
Alright, I'm gonna take out I've got the best weapon to take out the,
Yeah, you gotta det charge that thing.
Yeah.
That thing takes multiple grenades.
That it does. Whoop!
Well, I will activate all of my cues from over here.
Doop, 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 doop. Charge!
Nice.
Your phones before going out.
You done blowed that up real good.
You all went and died and shit. Why are you all dead now? Why are you not live? Cause you all bitches. Basic bitches.
No, that's the StarCraft humans, not the Warcraft.
Space Marines, but not those Space Marines.
Yeah. Except for that one guy from StarCraft 2 who's totally one of these guys.
I just wondered why it was required that every single Space Marine in StarCraft needed to have a goddamn smoking problem.
It's part of the standard equipment package.
When they're joined, they get one heavy duty machine gun. They get one set of power armor, and they get a box of cigars. It is mandatory to smoke them at all times.
Especially when your visor and your helmet's closed.
They just look all like a Mysterio. Their bubble is just all swirly. They're hotboxing themselves.
Yep. No, it's not a mirrored visor shade. They're just hotboxing in there. By the way, shoutouts to the orcs, but rather than having proper jetpacks, they just strap an actual rocket to their back.
Pretty much. I mean, what's the difference?
Guys.
I'm a toughie. I broke that barrier all myself.
You're a big boy now.
Yay. Bunny tits.
Charge attack and how he can just go through so many things.
Oh, but when you've got like a
armies.
Yeah, when you've got like a thunder hammer, holy shit.
Oh fuck yeah. That's another thing I loved in Space Marine when you got the thunder hammer.
Yeah, it would just be this indestructible, like unstoppable thing of just death. It was some good shit.
It felt great.
It felt fantastic, especially parts where you kill a bunch of orcs. Don't know why Jonathan Coulton there.
The way that I feel right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Right now.
I always preferred
Be some Joko.
I love the fancy pants. There's
Yes.
this footage of like him live on stage and he has the fancy pants dancers.
I'm also very fond of his really twisted songs like Nemesis. It's a
Uh,
love song, but for being enemies.
kind of sounds familiar. Did you see the one where he was on stage with the guys from Riff Tracks? All I want to do is eat your brains.
No, but I've heard the song in general,
Uh,
just not the Riff Tracks version of it. Yeah,
uh,
look up Nemesis later. It's excellent.
I think I shall. I also liked. What was the song where the dude became a supervillain and had a um,
Skull
had
Crusher Mountain.
no, not that one. The one where you had the
Oh,
robots, the space lab in space.
the future soon.
Yes, that's the one.
It's gonna be the future
The
soon,
soon
and I won't always
must
be
be
this
this way.
way.
Like Skull
Everything
Crusher
that
Mountain
makes
as
me
well.
strange gets engineered away.
Yeah. Also a big fan of
Yeah.
IKEA as well.
Yeah, Nemesis is basically, it sounds like a love song, but it's
Oh
actually about
shit! Back!
killing
Nice!
somebody.
Yeah! Cyrus, go! Just go now. You ruined our flawless victory. Sorry.
How dare you?
Cyrus tends to let the team down a lot.
Yeah, he's like that.
Yeah, all the girls like him. I don't get it. Especially because he's a space marine. What the hell can he do?
I mean, they still got junk.
Uh, uh,
It just doesn't function in that particular way.
Unless, of course, you go all Slanesh, in which case you've got several junks.
Probably.
Or Nurgle, for that matter. Because that's how you spread
Well,
the
it's
more
true.
interesting itches and
I was gonna
scratches.
say Nurgle's people will have extra orifices probably, but none of them have anything to do with that particular activity.
No, how else are you going to spread STDs?
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, shall I take these gray things over here from over here?
Yeah, okay.
Get these other rally points. Grab some more XP and kills.
Hell
Some
yeah.
more for the Emperor.
Emperor, Emperor, hey bra, it's Emperor. Blow up that rip-off Tatooine set.
Right. Do you have any
Yeah,
death charges left?
I've got
Try again, I
tons,
guess.
but um,
Look at these
we
suckers over here just
can.
lining up for death.
Silly goose. This isn't how you die. This is how you die. Hopefully he just hurls a backpack at someone. Maybe this is what
Well, they're pretty
Trailblazer.
damn long distance.
Well, they are space marines. They probably, if they
Yeah.
didn't fight, they'd probably be fantastic athletes.
Oh yeah, that is some transhuman strength in action right there.
Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. Down you goes. Have you seen the latest non-corona monstrosity of drama that is the New Warriors?
Oh yeah, I've seen like 5 different people cover that shit. Oh my god, it's crazy.
I honestly think it's intentional to basically get people talking about it. I think it's a marketing ploy. I think they know what they're doing, and
Well, I
they're
heard that the guy is actually a comedy story writer.
really.
Like he usually makes comedy stories,
So you think,
which supports your theory, I think.
yeah,
Like he's just a
because
massive troll.
yeah, and you know what? If that's the case, it's working.
I do love the fact that he actually made Snowflake into something offense oriented.
Oh, for fuck's sake! There we go. That was a weird moment. That shouldn't have happened. I
That
threw
was
the
weird, but it
yeah.
worked.
You saw it. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
I also love the fact that it's a 5-man team and only 2 of them actually. Sorry, 3 out of 5 of them actually have superpowers. The other 2 are just there.
You better be including the one that has internet gas. Grandpa's internet gas. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I've had it. I'm sure I've had it at some point. Internet gas.
I was, like,
Oh,
I was like, we just got into a giant fight. Hold on, I'm going to Google how to win this fight.
Oh no, I'm out of range. Why the hell did we fight in Alabama?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other lady's like, "Hold on, I'm gonna charge in first and then not do anything useful in the fight. Hold on, let me grab a random item out of my backpack."
Trailblazer. Dora the fucking overweight explorer. Like, what the?
How the hell is random item out of a backpack a superpower?
Well, they're not all super power. Well, yeah, yeah, they should.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Like Trailblazer and Screen Time don't have superpowers at
no,
all. They're not useful in any way.
absolutely not. Unless, of
In
course,
fact,
you
in
can.
fact,
Um, Screen Time could if he can hack into things, but it's specifically said that's not what happens. He just learns things. He can access the internet on a whim
the,
to like discover things. But that's not the
exactly.
same thing.
His brain is a smartphone.
Yeah, but not even all the things a smartphone can be, because you can hack via a smartphone.
Sorry, a smartphone that all it has is a browser.
Yeah, a brand new one that you haven't even put in your email into yet.
Exactly.
um, and then, of course, there's the two beauties of Safe Space and Snowflake, who
You mean the incest twins? Yeah.
are also sadly one of, if not the first, openly like non-binary superheroes, and this is what they are. This is what they
Yeah.
were. Like, fuck's sake, Billy
Actually, Screen
Backbush.
Time is honestly the main reason why I think you're probably onto something about it being a troll, because Screen Time seems like a joke character. Actually, so does Trailblazer, really.
They all do. But I mean, it goes.
But I mean, the thing is, I could see Safe Space and Snowflake and being negative. I could see,
Be negative.
yeah, I could imagine them being actual serious heroes that an SJW would make.
Yep. And I think that's half the. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude, if he is trolling, what he did was he went to like undercover to like Tumblr and Twitter accounts for
Yeah.
like the really overly SJW people and put on a show and got some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine all the bad guys. I remember Paul saying this. The bad guys are probably just going to be something like Neckbeard, alt right, you know, like
I really want to
the
see a villain
hater.
called Alt Right.
I want to see Neckbeard. Like, what will Neckbeard look like?
You know who
Will
Alt
that be
Right?
his gamer handle?
Yeah. You know who Alt Right's going to be? It's going to be Crimson Skull's kid.
He wasn't. He was just misunderstood. He was protecting Western society. Oh, Avitus, Avitus.
Oh, right at the end.
Ah, it's happened before. I was actually wondering why you weren't moving. Oh well. Yeah, it happens.
I think it was that last blast he did before he died that did
It
it.
did. That's exactly what happened. It's happened to me before. But yeah. Oh my god. Like picture. Like I imagine there's going to be a bunch of criminals going around attacking gay pride parades called like the haters and things like that.
Yeah. Seriously though, if there's not if they don't end up with a villain called Alt Right, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Oh, uh, the Incelinator.
Mm-hmm.
We need.
But I mean, I can actually see I can actually see Snowflake being a decent hero if it wasn't for the fact that she was non-binary. That's what really makes it weird to me. That
But
taking the
that could
idea
you,
of
you could have a non-binary hero that's pretty good. It's just the context of this is terrible. Like it's so
well, the
badly
context
done.
because of the other characters, but like Snowflake as a standalone, I think would be fine because it's the idea of taking an insult and making it into your strength. Like, okay, I'll give
But
you that.
I
Like,
it's
killing people with sharp ice is kind of neat. I'll give
well
you that.
yeah. I mean, you could easily
But
have.
but but safe space can go and just fuck right off a cliff.
Uh, I just don't like. I don't like the look of them because they do look like knockoff Ben 10 characters. B,
That too.
I don't like. I also don't like the art style of it. It kind of looks, especially Trailblazer. She looks weirdly proportioned. She's kind of like
Yeah.
she's kind of like a pear. She kind of is just odd. Oh, we need overweight characters. No, we
Also,
fucking
I like how even the twins both even have the same like. Not only are their outfits just palette swaps of the same outfit, but they even have the same hairstyle and everything.
you know what's going to happen? They're going to actually have a scene where one of the characters talks for like 5 pages about what being non-binary is. It's just going to
Probably.
be a whole spiel of it, and maybe even having like a Bill Nye Science Guy sort of moment where they're kind of like,
Oh
"This
god.
is regular thing," and like you're just flipping through the pages, and it's just this diatribe explaining
Yeah.
explaining to the
It's
normies.
it's it's gonna be a 5 issue diatribe.
It is, and it's going to they're going to respond to it by saying that, oh, it's just a bunch of bigots who don't like it. Most of the hate I'm seeing is coming from people who are non-binary on the left. They're saying it's pandering, and they're absolutely right. It's pandering. It'd be the
You know
equivalent
it's
of the
bad
first.
pandering when the people you're pandering to don't like it.
It'd be like if the first black superhero ever was simply called Black Man. you know, like.
I think it might have been actually.
I thought it was. I thought it was Black Panther was the first made like proper black superhero.
While still have the name Black in it.
That's true, and it's based off a
I
kind
mean,
of
let's be
prop.
honest. It's because of the color of his suit, but his suit could have been any color,
Yeah, it went black, and
or they could have just said
oh,
Panther.
um, what's his name? And of course, both of those things are from Africa. But Shazam's original. Do you remember Shazam's original sidekick?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He
Holy
was the
fuck.
first black hero. What was his
Oh
name?
my
Like
god.
Otis or something like that?
I don't remember, but holy shit.
Oh, and this was like in the 60s. This was not cool.
I I polished your cape for you, massa.
Black Adam? Is it Black Adam?
No, Black Adam's a separate
No.
character who's actually a
Damn.
white guy.
Okay. Shazam. Racist side. Steamboat Bill!
Yeah, that's it. Oh
Steamboat Bill,
god,
most commonly called Steamboat, was a fictitious character appearing in the American comic book published by Fawcett Comics with Captain Marvel, back when he was Captain Marvel. Oh,
All right, here
sweet,
we go. I'm
merciful
gonna throw the
moment.
signum on Avitus because heavy weapons.
Yeah, you, you gotta do that. Jesus Christ. 1945, Steamboat make no firm appearance. Website called Screen Rat rated Steamboat as the fourth worst superhero sidekick of all time. Damn, only the fourth.
Shit, that is. I want to know who the first three are.
Screen Rant. All right, I can multitask. Screen Rant worst superhero sidekick all time. 11 worst superhero sidekicks of all time. Oh Jesus. The very first picture is a little bit on the racist side. Um, I wonder if they're all just going to be racist as fuck. Alpha. Let's see. No, we'll go past Steamboat. So, Steamboat. The picture they use for Steamboat is hitting a massive shell from a cannon, and Marvel's like, "Atta boy, Steamboat."
uh,
um,
Bill is asking, "What about the mutant tar baby?" That is Steamboat Bill.
that is, yeah. But we got number 3 now from the Spirit, Ebony White.
Oh,
Oh my god! Basically, it's whiteface. It's a stereotypical black character. I'll put this list up on my Discord so you guys can see yourselves. Just this nightmare fuel. And in the case of Steamboat, absolutely hilarious. The Grim Darkness of the Far Future is going nowhere, folks. We need to Yes, sign in. What the
Did
hell?
you see that thing they talk about on DP sometimes where there was the American restaurant called Tar Babies?
I sure did.
Damn, that was a whole thing.
Hell, they actually had a few. They had a few ones, didn't they? Ben loves bringing that shit up. Usually around Pitmonk. There was Tar Babies. There was also.
That's because it's around his neck of the country, I think.
It is, but then
Like
there's one like no the I think
so south, it's in the south in general. I mean,
there's one that's up like in Seattle or something. They keep bringing up, and it's like a really racist name.
I don't remember
Um,
which one that is.
all right, so if anyone's curious, you can find it on the Discord down below. The 11 worst superhero sidekicks of all time. Ebony White is number 3, and I'm gonna let you guys see that for yourself. What sort of horrible acid trip that is. Number 2 from Supergirl, Comet the Super Horse, because girls love horses.
Yeah.
He's got one hell of a smile on him.
Then again,
uh,
Superman had a dog, and that was stupid too.
yeah, Crypto, the Wonder Dog. Oh, this is a bonus. Jason Todd's Batman as in Batman. Yeah. Wait, that can be number 1, is it? Yeah. Apparently, they put Jason Todd as the worst superhero of all time. Psychic.
Also, I see you've got Cyrus's screen open. You close that boy down. That's my boy.
Oh, yes, of course. I can undo that, in fact. That a boy, Cyrus! 54. All right, and Tarkus. I get to give Tarkus his first plasma gun. Oh, he's so happy. You can give Cyrus a one of the bolter there if you want. Make him a little more chunky up.
Might as well for now until he gets a proper
Sniper rifle. Then he can do that. I'll give this. I'll give the better chainsword. Avitus 4. Avitus 6. He can't do that anyway. So Oh, better armor. 18, 14, 14, 18. Daddy gets first pick. Daddy Honey Tits gets first pick of everything.
I
5.
think he's the best
14.
armor anyway. He's the guy charging in.
He does, but I'm not completely selfish. I'm just doing a hand-me-down thing. So get rid of that improved power armor. And that superior power armor. Let's get rid of the chainsword and the bolter. Because fuck it. And even these. Next mission we should level up. I'm gonna quickly turn the light on in my Oh, there's another racist thing from the Crimson Avenger, number 5. Wing. We give no hand, we give foot. What the
Nice.
racism? Etta Cartney, Wonder Woman. Okay, that's disturbing. Beepo the Super Monkey from Superboy.
I
Oh,
mean, is it an actual monkey?
yes, an absolute monkey. He doesn't
Well,
have.
that's not racist then. That's just a bad sidekick.
It is. And you know what else? I would pay money to see the next Justice League movie where they have a superpowered monkey.
Whose sidekick was it again?
Superboy.
Oh fuck! Well, that explains everything.
Yeah, I mean, he was already kind of like the B rate. Oh God, Uncle Marvel. Dobie Dickles from the Green Lantern. Was he a jazz man? Cool. Snapper Car. Herbal from Fantastic Four. Well, Fantastic Four sucks as a rule. I want to make that abundantly clear. They are just beyond terrible. Alpha from Spider-Man. And yeah. Okay, I'm going to quickly turn the light on before I'm completely engulfed in darkness. The sun goes to sleep.
Right back. I'm gonna
I
drink. Be back in like 20 seconds.
I have no luxury in sleep. I will also close this blind, so people cannot see my shame. Okay, let us return back to killing off the enemies of humanity for the glorious emperor of mankind, and other things of that nature. Rambles. Dobie Dickles. Dobie Dickles. Okay. Oh, you mean our chapter master, or do we have to wait 2 expansion packs for that? Plague. I'm a member of the Plague cult. Neat. You still there, Krendar? Hello? Krendar. Krendar. You're a Canadian sweet boy.
All right.
Oh, there you are. I was wondering where you went.
I was leaving.
What? No, I didn't hear it.
Going to refill my drink there for a second.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. Where are we going?
We are off to kill some orc scouts, and then.
I guess, eh?
Mm-hmm. Wait.
That's right. This is the mission where we get
Thaddeus.
Guy.
Yeah.
As opposed to run in and survive and be a badass guy, which is the commander.
Yeah, but you know he's the player character.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they're all player characters.
Yeah, but you're made to be the tank, whereas Thaddeus is the melee glass cannon.
I'll harm you. Oh, I'm hurt.
Yep. But yeah, before the mission started, I tried to say I was going off to get a new drink real quick.
Fair enough. I think at the same time I took my headphones off to turn the lights on.
That would explain it. Right, there's your boy, your team melee.
Sergeant Thaddeus, reporting for duty, Commander.
Duty.
Team melee and team shooty.
We are Macaulay. You are ranged.
Yes.
You're no match for us in close combat. Your assault squad has been killed.
Yeah. That's because of the 5 shooters that are near the other guy that they tied up in melee. It's so true, though. He's such a delicate little boy.
Is Cyrus? You can buff Cyrus up better than him.
Which is really sad if you think about it.
Very. He's in fucking leather. He's in power armor. What's the excuse? Okay.
Cyrus was in Death Watch, so.
Yes, he was. A game series that I would love to see. It would have a sort of like a special operations vibe to it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. There's a role-playing game for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But, not my favorite.
All right, before we go raging in and attacking, you start laying down suppressive fire. That'll draw them out. And then I'll send my melees in once you're opening fire, and then they'll be pinned down,
Yeah.
and they will fall to our
I'll
might.
send Tarkus out. I can send Tarkus out front with his tactical advance on.
And when you get close, if you can, also put taunt in. You should be able to soak it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. And Shazam! Smashy, smashy. I thought our commander's like response is just to walk into the bullets.
That's how he do.
That's the Space Marine way.
It really is. Let's all go hug the building so we can get healed.
Oh, building, I love you. And it loves us too with this massive erection it's making.
Oh yeah.
If you rub the building, it will release building juice.
As it throbs its way triumphantly into the skyline.
Fellhammer mine is close by, Commander.
Thanks, Wolverine.
As you can clearly see.
Versus the Tyranids.
Yeah, that would be great. Too bad it would result in them killing him, eating him, and getting his powers of regeneration.
Yeah.
It would.
Which reminds me, like this whole Marvel Zombies thing, you'd think Wolverine would be immune to an infection like that.
I think they always say that he's like better resistant than most, but as a lot of the zombies are also sentient, usually it's Reed Richards who, as always, is the world's biggest mass murderer and serial killer. He creates a way to infect them, except for Venom. Venom can't be infected, so it just leaves the Earth hungry. Because it can't eat any of the hosts, because they're all zombies.
They're not nourishing anymore, yeah.
Pretty much. That's actually a film I haven't seen. And I don't think I ever will. The Venom film. Like a turd in the wind.
I probably will not bother either.
Maybe, maybe it won't be so bad. But at the same time, like a turd in the wind.
Maybe it also won't be so good.
See my previous statement.
Why even bother? Let's just all go see cats instead.
Oh, absolutely, because, every once in a while you want your furry itch to be scratched. They were originally going to keep in CGI cat butts. And they took it out.
That's a shame.
It is, but it's also, let's be honest here, telling that they knew their audience. They knew their audience would want to watch that. I mean, Idris Elba in that. I don't like dudes, but
Yeah,
he is fucking toned.
There's a relay thingy over here.
Oh yeah, you should go and get that. We can distract them with our many. You don't need both squads
Here,
for that.
I'll cover you over here.
Okay.
You can claim it.
We shall make our way back. Yay. By way back, I'm going to use my 2 victory to run away. Sir Robin, run away.
If victory is counted as getting over this objective, yeah. To the objective. Huzzah! You're gonna stand underneath the grenade.
It's an Eldar grenade. It's the equivalent of getting Febreze in your face. Oh, that's mildly disorienting for a few seconds.
It looks like a Febreze grenade, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like it'd be like nice and minty fresh, or like,
Avitus, I told you to move. God damn it.
Avitus, that's Avitus. It's Avitus.
Whap, 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 whap.
Avitus. He is just big and strong. It's Avitus.
Hashtag just Avitus stuff.
Avidus world problems. Don't you hate it when you're setting up your machine, your heavy bolter, and then suddenly someone throws a grenade?
Oh, Avitus.
We have to fight a warlock at the end of this, I think,
Yeah. OU.jpg.
or one of those memes that have been rescanned multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered who was the first person to do that, like copy paste 75 times the same meme and then send it.
Somebody, very
Who,
unfortunate. That's who.
probably an 80-year-old who didn't know how the technologies work, but they know what the memes are. Ow! Thaddeus, why do you suck so much? Stop hitting me!
God, these space elves are so fucking emo.
It's almost like their whole race is dying and they know that
I
they
know, right?
caused it. I mean, our race is dying and we don't hear us being emo about it. We're just making memes about it.
except for the half of you that went bad anyway.
Yeah. We need. I wish they had put Dark Elves into this. Dark Eldar. That'd be some kick. That'd be some kick-ass S&M shit.
God, I remember. Did you ever play the Warhammer Fantasy MMO?
No, I've seen it, but I never played it.
It was funny because you could play Dark Elves as one of the characters options, and holy shit, those people like sharp things.
Hell, I remember when I first picked up a codex for the Dark Eldar. It actually says in the introduction page, "Be aware that Dark Eldar models are particularly sharp and spiky, so be careful when handling it, as you may lose an eye."
I remember when I was walking around like the beginning area when I made a Dark Elf character, and like everything was sharp. Like even their tents had knives sticking out of like the tent poles and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how.
Even their pottery was sharp.
Uh, that way, when a slave picks up a pot, they might cut themselves, which would be funny.
Yeah, and even and their tents were sharp. Like it was ridiculous. One thing I had a complaint though is it's one of those games where they mirror things too much. Like on the quote unquote good side and the quote unquote bad side, all the classes were basically just copied over, but like
Mm.
reskinned. So the Dark Elf had, I think it was called like the Sorceress or something, and it had all this ice magic. And but it was essentially just a reskin of the human Bright Wizard
Yeah.
with the fire magic. But they have the same spells and the same game mechanics. It just looked different.
Oh, look, we can assign squads now.
Sweet.
All right, let's sort this out once and for all. I want Tarkus. Um, you go crazy with the other three.
How do I assign mine?
Oh, can you not? I'll do it for you. So,
Maybe I can. I don't know.
drag squad to deploy them in the next
Oh,
mission.
I can do it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take Cyrus because I don't want Thaddeus.
No one wants Thaddeus. He's the kid who doesn't get picked for in gym class.
Anything. I guess we might as well. Well, I was gonna say we might as well equip him. Or I'll give him a grenade. He's not high enough level to use any of this other cool shit though.
Thaddeus. Yeah. Might as well give him. I'm still going to keep him as a glass cat. Yeah, you can do.
Might as well assign some points just for giggles.
Yeah, you never know when he might be. He's useful near the end. You need every character. All right. Let's see. TARDIS 34, currently equipped 38, useless. Tarka, bloop, bloop. And he's got the kick-ass banner now, which must make it impossible for him to get through doors. Then again, he is a space marine. He's probably used to that.
He can go through the door just fine. In fact, the door will be larger afterwards.
Absolutely, I was actually thinking that. Hell, in the books, they often do. They just casually stroll and break through walls. I'm surprised. Avitus. Avitus would say when he did that, right? He'd go, "I'm Avitus, bitch."
I am the juggernaut, bitch.
Oh, Vinnie Jones. I remember when you played football and cracked people's heads open in Guy Ritchie films. What's he doing now? Have you seen Vinnie Jones do anything recently?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he's go nuts. Make Cyrus a better Cyrus.
Well, couldn't do much with him right now. Oh, he leveled him up now.
Yeah.
Okay, so give him. I want to get in that marked target, so I'm just going to go ham on ranged for now.
Cool, but don't forget, he is a weak, soft, squishy boy.
Yes.
Ooh-wee.
We'll worry about that later.
In the meantime, Typhon Primaris. Or Primus.
After I get him marked target, I will then spam health for him.
Yeah, I like
In the
marked.
meantime, we will have to protect our soft little boy.
At least he can hide. I love just the look of it. I really love the look of it.
Commander Honey Tits.
Yeah.
Impressive bulk.
Let the real men sort it out. What about Thaddeus? Thaddeus, you know when your mom tells you you have to play with the kid at the end of the street who smells weird? That's Thaddeus.
And he falls down a lot when he tries to run.
Oh God, what the hell am I saying? That's me. We've just described. I was that kid. If I was in an 80s sort of coming of age adventure film, I would basically be the fat one. I would have been the fat one. I would have had to learn how to do the truffle shuffle.
Anyway.
I'm actually thinking, if I was any Space Marine, I'd probably want to be Space Wolves, because at least they have fun. I mean,
I always liked I liked the Thousand Suns back in the Heresy before they fell.
Yeah, when they're a bunch of mathematicians who also shoot lightning.
Yeah, like when they were like the Egyptian space sorcerer.
Yeah.
Awesome wizard guys.
I liked.
It's too bad they went chaos, because I like the chapter full of psychers.
Well,
they also had one of the coolest ideas for a restaurant during one of the books I read. They had a cafe on their home planet that didn't have a menu.
mm-hmm.
You just walked in and sat down, and then they brought you exactly what you want to eat.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't it Fulgrim trying to convince Magnus or something like that to join him? And no, I'm thinking of Perturabo. Yeah, when they're trying to convince Perturabo. There's a scene.
And that's like the idea of a psychic restaurant. You don't have to order anything because they know what you want.
That's right. I like a lot of the Space Marine chapters that aren't like the more obvious ones. For example, I like the Blood Ravens, but honestly, they just get beaten around. There must be like 50 of them left by the end of this. By the start of the Primaris shit and the Great Rift and all that, there must be like 50 of these motherfuckers left. And they can't they can't ask for Primaris Marines, because who is their goddamn Primarch? You know?
Yeah, I'm forgetting the name of them actually, but I remember the ones where they're all black and black armored, and they're like stealth specialists.
You don't mean the ones with the massive claws, do you?
No, I mean like they're on the loyalist side.
No, yeah, there is one.
They're under Korax.
Oh, Ravenguard. Ravenguard,
yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
I like those guys.
They're cool. They kind of like start little insurrections behind enemy lines, and they blow up buildings, and then they kind of raid.
They're like the guerrilla tactics chapter.
That's right. I always like the White Scars. They were cool looking.
Yeah, the Space Mongols.
Yeah. Oh, don't
the
call them
drone
that.
tactics, because they're what's that?
Don't call them Mongols. It's not their fault. Yeah, like with I always just love the space, the speeder bikes and shit like that. Um, let's see, Spider Monk flies. I'll do that first because that's a side mission, and we'll get bonuses.
I mean, the idea is we're going to be doing all of it, right?
Do you want to play the entire thing today, or do you want to leave it for now? Like after
Well,
this one.
it would take too long to do the entire thing today.
I
We
was
might as well
thinking
hit.
that, but we can come back at any time we want. You know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like we might as well hit all the missions.
Yeah.
Over time.
So how about we do this one and the next one, and then we'll call it for today.
Sure.
I said I wouldn't take more than about 2 hours out of your time, and we're already at 100 minutes.
Fair enough.
So, well, you're a busy boy as well, and was it?
Yeah.
Like if you want to come back for round two, absolutely.
Sure, man.
Well, we can make this into a weekly thing if you're up for it.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Yeah, later on tonight I've got my own stream to do. Time for some horror game.
Mm.
Time for some spooks.
I gotta check out that. I gotta get back on more on Twitch. I've missed out on you, Jeff, Gurley, Casey Tron, Hannah. I've got a friend by the name of Zeta. I haven't checked out her stuff in ages. I'm way behind. There we are.
I like the occasional mission where the drop pod actually lands on some orcs or something.
I want to see like a start of it. You get a hint of it in the start of Chaos Rising, where the drop pod's off by a little bit and it crashes into like the side of a mountain. Avitus gets stuck that way at the very first of it, and he's like too far away. Yeah, we'll head down here. This can be a slog. This mission. The elves are just fucking dicks.
Yeah, we can take over that post in the northeast there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go and do that,
That's
and
where
then
I
we'll.
zigzag back around the other way and grab all the points.
Yeah. Taunt and Master Karate Grenade.
Now I don't remember. Does the artillery strike get refreshed with support item pickups?
Yes, it does indeed. At least it did in Recruit. It might not in Sergeant. It might.
Well, let's experiment and find out next
Yeah.
time we come across one.
Yeah. You have it equipped?
Yeah, I got it on Avidus here.
Okay.
Because I figure he's all about the booms, you know?
He's all about that bass.
It's in theme. He is all about that bass, actually. Come to think of it.
Even his voice is pretty bassy.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna strike this thing on the right in the wall.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Make it happen.
And there it goes.
That's slightly helpful. To the max. Earl.
And no, the pickups do not give it back to me, so it looks like it's per mission limit of 2.
Well, that sucks.
So I'll
But
save it for the big buildings.
yeah. Which the Eldar tend to get stuck inside buildings a lot. Come, show us what passes for fury from your misbegotten kind. Biggest.
Very Imperium insult.
Yeah.
Actually, very Space Marine insult.
Very Space Marine. Oh, what do the orcs call them? Posh gits.
I mean, the entire Imperium is very,
Very British. Very, very British.
well, very British, but also I was gonna say very anti-Xeno, but it's the Space Marines that are obsessed with the concept of fury.
Not even that though. Like, compare the insults to what like a standard guardsman would shout, like "Get fracked."
Yep.
Fracking.
Or like how Dan Abnett likes to make up new swear words for every planet.
Yeah. I remember one was called Gibbed.
There's also Gacked.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was like different versions of that, like
In Feth.
Oh, Fething heretics. Yeah. I love the Gaunt. I love the Gaunt's Ghost books. They're brilliant.
They are very good. I've been reading through them.
Honestly, if they ever made a HBO series, kind of like a sort of Game of Thrones, yes.
That would be interesting.
Because the thing is, of course, you would see from time to time these titans of like perfection known as Space Marines land to save the day. But for the most part, it would be a bunch of people in like rags, hiding in mud trenches and taking pot shots against these monsters. I mean, you know they're going to do an Inquisitor show pretty soon, right?
That's got potential.
About
any of the books?
Yeah, about Eisenhorn. It's going to be the Eisenhorn books.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder who they're going to cast as Eisenhorn.
I can check now for you. But the thing
after the mission would be a better idea, probably. Here, let's kill these guys and then go back for the other pickup points there. The waypoints.
Okay, they're going to do. Oh, never mind. That's no. Yeah, we'll check later. I was like, Jason Isaacs, really? But no, that's a different Inquisitor.
Come back this way. I don't think we want to do the boss quite.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. No. Although if I'm right, he takes us on a little bit of a merry chase.
There's much more glory to be had for the Emperor on this map.
Yeah, we can keep killing Eldar, and because Eldar are a dying race, then statistically we are doing far more damage per dead Eldar.
It's true.
But yeah, Arch pointed out something very interesting about this whole Inquisitor show. How are they going to show chaos? How are they going to show the Imperium without the Imperium looking like a bunch of assholes? Because they are.
Why would they? Why would they avoid that?
Because they want to make the Imperium look like the good guys. But there isn't a good guys in this universe. Like the Tau, the Eldar, no one's good.
I partly disagree. The Imperium is the good guys, but they're a very gray sort of good guy.
But we wouldn't consider them good. I mean, I wouldn't want to live in the Imperium. I wouldn't want to even visit this 40k universe. It's such a horrible place.
Right, but it's a bunch of. If you look at the overall setting as context, it's a big character study in the concept of necessary evils.
Yeah, but it isn't even just necessary evils. It's like apathy. I've always found the 40k universe to be a very apathetic place. They just can't. They just can't keep tabs on everything. So billions of people will die for no reason whatsoever. The numbers involved are absolutely astronomical. And I'm curious to see how they're going to show that on screen while making the characters likable.
Apathy, though, that's just logistical stress, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, sort of degradation of just like tech and concepts. Like I want to see a hive world as a real hive world should be. There should be billions upon billions of unwashed, screaming, howling masses moving around constantly from place to place. There should be gang wars that look like our regular wars happening all the time. And then we need to be able to tell that that's the way the world should be. And that means showing chaos is even worse. How do we do that? Yeah. Flaying children alive, tentacles sprouting out of bodies. We need to show all of that and more. It can't get us subtle. Like, we want our hero to basically go, You see all those orphans? Set them on fire. It is the Emperor's way. And then someone goes, no, you can't. That's evil. And then it turns out that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, because the guy who just said that then gets eaten by tentacles and express
Pretty
everything
much,
evil.
yeah. Like, he somehow saves like the head of the orphanage, and they're like, "Oh, my child, you should really listen to the Inquisitor."
Uh-huh.
um,
Or like the head of the orphanage turns out to be a gene stealer.
yes, I
Not a gene
remember
stealer, but like one of the humans infected by gene stealers.
Gene Stealer cult. So kind of like, yeah,
Well, okay,
yeah.
but as a singular character, not as a whole cult.
Well, then just as an infected, I suppose you just call them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like underneath his robes, he's got a third arm that's an insect arm.
there's one. There's one story like that. I think it's a Scythian Kane book, um, and he finds a brothel, and it seems the theme about the brothel is that everything is purple or pink, and they're intentionally
Uh-oh.
infecting everyone with.
That's Slot Nash right there.
No, that's the Tyranids. They're infecting them all with this sort of Tyranid spore in the form of an HIV, and thousands
Oh.
and all the prostitutes come out, and they've all got these symbols carved into their flesh, and all their eyes are like weird slits, and it's
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I just know that in my experience,
purple and
slashers
pink
really like
and
purple and pink.
and prostitutes.
Yeah. I thought
um,
I saw where this was going, but I was wrong.
you had the same vein of it. I mean, one I really liked was a chaos fleet was going to descend on a planet, and the planet was too far away to get help. But they found this ancient Xenos tech that they couldn't get operational. But if they could, it would be a gigantic barrier to like a planetary shield. And they kept on working on it until they found that it responds to human suffering. So they
Fuck.
start to first of all feeding its volunteers, and then when the volunteers weren't enough, they started putting prisoners into it, and then there was this brutal lottery, and eventually they stopped thinking straight and started just feeding themselves into it while saying this one word over and over again. It was a Necron feeding machine that they discovered, and it was basically compelling them all to just feed themselves while just going omsk, the word over and over again, omsk. Um, that's the sort of shit I want to see on screen. If they do that right, they can have all the character assassination they want. I want the vibe of 40k right.
For sure. By the way, speaking of Necrons, that's one of the playable races they have in the Gladius game.
Nice.
You can have a 4x game where you're the Necrons, and like I said, not all the factions use all the resources, so they don't use food.
I imagine they.
I believe
It's
they
power,
use,
isn't it?
They use power for purchasing units, but then they use metal ore as upkeep.
Ah. Which makes that actually is.
Whereas like the Imperial Guard would use food as upkeep.
Yeah, of course. I don't know how the metal ore would apply, but seeing that Necrodermis doesn't work like that, but yeah, I get what they're going for. They couldn't have made it too easy for the Necrons.
Right.
Um, let's see.
Or it's possible I might have it the other way around. Maybe energy was the upkeep and ore was the purchase.
That would make a little bit more sense. Just a smidge, but still.
It would make more sense, but I don't remember which one they did. But both of them were important. That's the point.
Oh, I know one. I know one setting that would make a great game. Um, did you ever play or hear of the game Gorka Morka?
Heard of it? Haven't played it.
Think Mad Max, but with orcs.
I'm in.
Yes, it is as awesome as thing.
At least thematically.
Yeah, the premise is that a ship, an orc ship attacked a human ship, but the two crashed onto this desert planet. And the humans survived by hiding inside their ship, which crashed into the side of a mountain. But they kind of devolved because the reactor started to leak, and they became these sort of like mole people that the orcs called diggers. And the orcs are seen as gods by the diggers. But as for the orcs, there's just not enough orcs
Oh,
to be able to rebuild the ship. So instead, they have this sort of lottery where they can build a smaller ship for if you have enough teeth. So it's this sort of like council thing. But the Gretchen discovered that no Gretchen are going to be allowed in the ship. So they end up starting up their own communist revolution out in the wastes,
awesome.
led by the Red Commissar. And it's just this sort of constant raiding and bickering among the orcs over who can get on board the ship when it's finally ready to go. But as it turns out, every time that it's ready to go, an orc ends up fucking it over, and it all gets reset and it all gets rebuilt. That explains why it can never end, really. But it's just, I could love to see that on like a game, and it'd be like, remember that Mad Max game that came out a few years ago?
Yeah.
It'd be something like that. It would be like there'd be no civil. It wouldn't be like for Fallout. There'd be no civilization whatsoever. It would just be tribes beating the living shit out of each other with these scrap cars across this desolate wasteland. It would just be
That was
great.
actually a pretty fun game, that Mad Max one.
It wasn't too bad, but I think Yahtzee summed it up best. It was the most sandboxy of sandboxes. It was just go collect this item to do this item, get 10 of these items to upgrade this item. Had a very Ubisoft vibe to it.
Yeah, but you know what? I find that kind of stuff fun, so I
And
like
if
it.
you, then all the more power to
It's
you.
Far Cry does it better in general, though.
Oh, far, far more. I absolutely love Far Cry 4.
One might even say that it's a Far Cry better.
No, one cannot say that. What the hell is wrong with you? I bring you onto my channel and you pull that shit. Honestly, I was gonna say go and visit Krendar. You start sending them fucking hate mail. I'll find somewhere to dox them. I do not condone this motherfucker. Jesus Christ. And to think I was gonna hang out with you in Toronto. Shame that never happened.
I'll have you know, dad jokes are part of my brand, okay?
Might be a part of your fucking brand. You, I don't normally kink shame, but keep that shit to yourself. It's a real shame that shit didn't happen in Toronto, but
Yeah.
I'm planning to 2022 go back to the States, so might end up going to Vancouver or something like that. Gonna do the whole West Coast. That's my plan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this time I will hang out with Ben. Fair play to Ben. When he heard I was in trouble, he actually offered to take me, fly me out to Seattle, and
Oh, so you can, like, stay at his place?
just for a few days. Yeah. The only problem was that I had already left Chicago, and he was talking about getting me a flight out of Chicago. And I was like, oh, you missed me by 24 hours. Yeah, it was still fair play to him.
Sweet boy.
He is a sweet boy. Especially because I had to clear out the air with some things, which was just awkward as all hell. But then I'm like, dude, none of that matters. Do you want to help me? Because I could kind of do with some help right now. And he's like, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. But it was a cool idea. I had this huge plan to meet so many cool people. I was going to meet Ryby. I was going to meet Jay. I was going to meet you. I was going to meet, God, I got to meet Marshall and Faith. That was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
We went up. We went played some pool there in Buffalo.
Nice.
Where did you go? All right, you going back to
I
the
went back to
the beacon?
reinforce.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well
Because
then,
we were
I'll
taking over
I'll
that
join
market.
you, and then we shall go down here to the giant obvious arena.
Yeah. Don't know what you're talking about.
Do 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 do. Uh. Oh God, shoot's killing me.
But actually, on a serious note, the Far Cry games have been doing a pretty good job with having some interesting villains.
Hmm. Number threes was fantastic. What's his name? Begins with V.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was like the sub villain, but he was very good. Number 4 had a great villain.
the Asian dude with the sort of lesbian haircut.
Yeah, yeah. Who I later found out was Troy Baker.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I love the Easter egg ending. If you just sit on the table and enough
yeah.
time passes, and then he comes out and
That's
apologizes.
hilarious. Like if you actually do what the villain says, you actually do get what you want.
Yeah, and
Like he promised to do a thing, and he actually would follow through on it.
absolutely, because he actually gives a shit about you because he's mildly cooked by your dad. Once you go through enough,
Yes.
when you go through enough story, he's like, "Well, I'll show him. I'm going to take his son under my wing and turn him into another asshole." Um, I actually let him
No,
live
he's a great
at the.
character, and it shows how good of an voice actor Troy Baker is because you usually can't detect him
Mm,
because he just turns into the role. Like he does different voices and personalities so well that like I
uh,
enjoy Steve Bloom, but you can always tell Steve Bloom,
or Nolan,
right? Not
or
always with Nolan, but usually. But sometimes he
or
does something different, and you can't tell.
um, the one who played Bender, uh, Demigio.
Fender Bending Rodriguez.
uh, he was good. Like I liked him a lot in Adventure Time. He was the dog that, and he was also Dr. Draken in Kim Possible. But as for games, he pops up in a few different things as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Troy Baker, you can't usually tell just by hearing him.
no,
He's very good though.
there was something though. Oh, yeah, Far Cry. What do you think of the cult leader in the fifth one?
Uh, he was very interesting, and especially if you play the expansion, well, not the expansion, but like
The
the
sort of
standalone one
pseudo
that comes out
sequel,
later
yeah.
in
The
New Dawn.
mm,
Um, and I've noticed like Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 all have that sort of thing where they do a little spin-off.
they do indeed.
But
Uh, I thought Blood Dragon was probably the best because it was so cool looking.
I agree. Although Primal was pretty cool too.
Primal was cool, but it was just the
In New
same.
Dawn, in New Dawn, you get some interesting new perspective on the cult leader guy. Like there's some changes to his character
I don't
that
want
are
to
interesting.
spoil because I actually thought that was a genuinely good twist at the end of Far Cry
Yeah,
5, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting it to go. And if you play any of the different versions of like the endings, it all ends out the same way. Like he's always,
yeah.
it always happens. So when the standalone sequel, you're kind of like, oh, maybe I mean he's still an asshole, but he could have done this in a different way. But
Yeah, yeah. Also,
maybe we
I
missed
find it interesting that
the
if
drop.
you pay attention to the literature in the game, like
Mhm.
the item, you pick up notes and stuff.
Mm.
The player character from main Far Cry 5 is one of the NPCs in New Dawn,
Okay, that's cool.
but but you don't know unless you read the notes. He's the guy with the bow and the face mask, the
Oh,
generic guy in the cult.
oh, okay. Um, didn't they do that
You ended
with
up joining them.
didn't they do that in one of the previous Far Cries? They had is it like he's like an African preacher and he's appeared in other games as well, and he like sells
I
weapons.
I know the character you mean, but I don't know because I didn't really play Far Cry 1 and 2. I don't remember him being in three,
Far
4, and
Cry
5.
1 and I on this channel, it's never happening again. You couldn't pay me to go through the shit I had to go through. I,
Exactly.
I, I have post traumatic stress. As for Far Cry 2, I've never played
But there's also some amusing references, like if you played Primal, one of Herc's ancestors is in it.
it. Nice.
Like there's a very Herc character in there, and it's very obviously Herc's bloodline. He's like a caveman Herc. He's trying to invent things, and he's a fucking idiot.
Excellent work, Commander. Without warp spiders stirring up the orcs, Typhon is far more secure.
But I also like how
It
the
remains unclear
side
what the
stories
Eldar
that come out of
Brigade
each game are still in the same
Whatever their
geographic
purpose,
location as the game they
Eldar are
came
using
from.
all their tools to
I
Like
didn't
Blood
like that
Dragon
with
was in
I
the
didn't like
places
that
where
with
Thievery
Primal
was.
because Primal is meant to be set in Northern Europe at the end of the last ice age, but it's still the same map as Far Cry 4, which is
Yeah.
set somewhere in India.
Yeah,
So,
but then with Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 5, it's literally the same place.
yeah, but that makes sense in the context.
Right.
Um, no, I like Far Cry, but as for other things in Ubisoft, like what's your stance on Assassin's Creed?
Quite like him,
All of them,
except for one.
which is
Assassin's Creed 1.
I thought you said except for one, and then you'd sell me
No,
which
one
is
is in
at the very first one.
series.
You don't like the original one.
Not really. I mean, it was all right, but not
I'll
the
level up
best.
Thaddeus this time round. I want to get him that
Yeah,
those Terminator
I'll
armors.
level up my squad. You level up everybody else.
Okay. Um.
Um,
Cyrus still can't get his
oh, there's
sniper
a melee
rifle.
skill bonus armor here you might want to give somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
We picked up a sniper rifle, but we're not high enough level to use it yet.
I won't sell it then. Although it's only an
Oh, yeah.
improved sniper rifle, it's nothing special.
Still better.
It is. It's still a sniper rifle. Well, let's see. It's level 8, and Cyrus is level 5. Shit.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time.
It will. All right. Let's switch out some weapons. Let's just do the hand me down.
Yeah, it's only the commander and Tarkus that got all those bonus level ups at the beginning. So
Well, that's damn. You know what I should have done then? I should have waited until we are a full squad, and then I could have sold that shit off. And
yeah, but hindsight's 2020 and all that.
yeah. Well, I'm more 40-20. You know what you just said. No, I don't.
But one of the things that I find is funny is like you get a lot of people making fun of Ubisoft for their obsession with towers, but I always liked the climbing of the towers thing. It was kind of fun.
I liked climbing the tower. I'll tell you exactly why I liked the towers. I liked when each and every one was different and unique.
Yes.
But by the time of like 3, that did not feel the same. It felt like climb on top of that steeple. Okay, you do it in like 5 seconds. But to go to Assassin's Creed 2 and you're clinging off the side of gargoyles and like looking inside stained glass and like having to hop to other buildings. Like every one of them felt like a real challenge. Hell, do you remember when you had to unlock Altair's armor? You had to do individual challenges. Now, if each tower was something like that, oh, that'd be brilliant. But instead, it's
Actually,
just
remember which one was it where I think it was one of the Assassin's Creed 2 ones where maybe even connected to that there was one where you ended up in a vault that had statues of like the early founding assassins
yeah,
heroes.
that's Assassin's Creed 2, I think.
And one of them ended up being a character from Origins.
That's right. They
I
were
thought that was
all.
a cool.
I think they have like a lore Bible at Ubisoft
Yeah,
that they've
because
just been
it was a lady assassin who's the one that was
China.
responsible for sneaking the snake in that assassin that killed Cleopatra.
Oh yeah, s- the the wife of
Yeah,
the
the wife
dude.
of the guy from
Yeah.
Origins did that apparently.
Um, I kind of liked. There was certain parts of Origins I absolutely really liked. I liked the prettiness of it. It's a very
Oh,
pretty game.
it was cool being in Egypt because it was a more interesting location, like more exotic than just like oh we're in England or whatever, you know.
Um, I really loved
Or
Black.
Italy
I
or
really loved. You can level up Avitus if you want.
you can what?
Um,
Sorry,
you can level up Avitus if you want.
no, I can't.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. It didn't say level up on my screen until I clicked on him.
Oh.
There we go.
I'd
I don't know why
recommend
it didn't refresh that and
after
tell me.
you get all the range points you want, I'd start focusing on getting those Terminator honors so you can get the fucking the chain cannon, and just ruin everyone's day.
Yeah, I just actually I was gonna say I wanted to get him to hold on. I was gonna say I wanted to get him heavy weapons specialist so he doesn't have to set up. But then again, if he's in Terminator, he doesn't have to set up.
That's very true.
I
Um,
just realized that.
but it's going to take some time for him to get the Terminator armor. So
Yeah,
it's up to you.
I'll start working on it now because
It
actually,
won't.
when do we start getting the actual armor though?
That's the end of the Meridian campaign when you are defending the
Because that's gonna take
vaults.
a while too.
It will. We haven't even found Meridian yet.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go back to my original plan.
Yeah, do because we've got plenty of time.
Because if I start going up the health track now, I'm gonna get the honors before we actually have the armor anyway.
Mm,
So why bother?
yep. Okay. I think that is everything.
Wouldn't it
So
be funny to have the scout trooper in Terminator armor though?
I've kind of wondered that. What would that be like? He'd probably just get normal power armor.
I think it'd
Um,
be funny to have like a gigantic hulky Terminator armor set, but it's got like
well, it could be
it's
like the
got like the
Tau. It
Terminator
could be like the
scopes on his
Tau stealth
face, and
suits. They're really like bulky and heavy, but they're completely
I
silent.
think his Terminator version wouldn't be able to infiltrate, but it would just have like really good visibility on things.
That'd be kind
Like
of
he scouts
interesting.
by just being able to see shit from so far away that they can't see him yet.
What do your Terminator eyes see? They're taking the hobbits to
Exactly.
Isengard.
He's got like ship level sensors on it and shit.
The whole map is just completely revealed from the start.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be terrible. Oh, here's our first defense mission.
Or at least just to make it a little bit more game balanced. Like not the whole map, but maybe like his his sight range is like 3 or 4 times bigger than everybody else's.
Yeah, like he's just a massive sensor array strapped to his back.
Yeah, and maybe like he's got like Auspaxes built in, so in the equivalent range of other people's normal sight range, he can see things through walls.
That'd be interesting.
But then his regular sight otherwise is longer as well. God, this fucking map. Now, if we're really aggressive on this one, we can actually take over that shrine
Oh, that's
between
true. Yeah.
waves.
Do we all have to move though, or should we leave someone behind?
I think the best way to do it is between waves. Like we can't do it right now. Hang on.
No. Here comes some orcs. Don't forget to yeah deploy your.
Yeah.
And I will also use my Tarkus to be extra
I'll leave the
Tarkus.
F1 turret for you to the side.
I've already deployed that. It's in the center. A nice
Oh, it still
generic.
says on my screen that there's one available.
No, you require more requisition.
Okay, well, I'll put one here next to yours. Maybe we both have ones that we can do.
Oh, that'd be useful. Righteous wisdom, which is shoot the green things.
Indeed.
Give me another bit of wisdom. If you're a woman in the 40k universe, you're going to be wearing leather. Really tight leather.
I'm not sure if that's wisdom so much as just a
Wishful
universal
thinking.
truth, a truth of the world. All right, let's push out, see if we can make it there. I don't know if we can do it right now, but we can try.
Well, we're going to have to go up here anyway. Prepare for the next wave. 7, 6, 5.
Actually, it might be better if you do it and I hold the base. What do you think?
Yeah, you've got kind of got the bulkier
You've got the push
dudes.
guys. I've got the hold up position guys.
Yeah. Although Tarkus is good for everything. But we're actually just gonna bypass those motherfuckers right now and just go straight in for it. Hold up. Though as always, throw a grenade makes grenade people go. Alright. This isn't actually so bad in terms of enemies.
That's because half of them are over here.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Oh, I know it'll be a lot harder than this.
This is good tactics, though. Like, I'm keeping them distracted over here while you sneak in behind them.
Get the shrine. Of course, now the orcs are like, hey, they're after our shrines.
Yeah. That's our defacing toy.
If anyone's gonna have a brutal religion, it's gonna be us. Do you follow any of the lore channels besides?
Personalities of, huh?
Do you follow any of the lore channels besides Arch? People like 40k Theories.
I don't really even follow his stuff. Although I do watch. I know they're doing some role playing stuff lately with that weird Nazi vampire campaign thing.
Eh,
I've been watching a bit of that.
I don't. Is that the one he does with Sargon and
Yeah,
V?
Sargon and V and
V
some other
can
guys.
no, yeah. V would just be the immediate turn off for my. I'd be like, nope,
V's
can't.
V's a little bundle of chaos for sure, isn't he?
V's voice is a goat getting castrated. I cannot in my life. It's not even that. It's not even what he believes, which I think what he believes is a little bit on the filth side. But it's what he. It's just how he says it. It's one of those few times that if he said stuff I agreed with, I'd be doing him a disservice. It just so happens I don't like what he says and how he says it.
While you're coming back, why don't you grab this waypoint here?
I'm already on it.
Reinforcement beacon.
Um, I love 40k Theories from Remley, and I'm also a big fan of Oculus Imperialis. He's pretty good.
That's a good name.
Oh, he's sorry. He's got a great voice. He's Irish, but he's been living in Canada for a few years now, and it's all done in in lore as a setup of like this school in the Imperium, where they're just taught. It's kind of but it's like they're allowed to talk about more heretical things, but it's far more. It's done again like in character, so he talks. Well, it's better if you just see it. He's very eloquent to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if they were to get a if he were to get like a contract with Black Library to write some stuff.
Nice.
As for 40k Theories, they have characters and shit, Remleys and Nymera and all that, but Nymera's the I think the draw on that. She's got a great voice on her. She's you know the text to speech show. The Emperor had the text to speech. She did the voice of the Imperial Saint when she showed up, the French one. And Remley's is in that as well a few times. Look at those orcs. They're right next to a bunch of Imperial generators, and they're not trying to smash them up. Disgusting.
Not real orcs, if you ask me.
Hashtag not my orcs.
The shrine is not nearly defaced enough.
There should be shit everywhere. There should be grinning orc faces. The Emperor should have no head. Actually, that's not the Emperor. That's or is it the Emperor? I think it's a representation of him because he always looks different. But that's just a generic Space Marine to me. Emperor needs to look like.
Head spikes looks a little weird. I've never seen the Emperor with head spikes.
It's kind of like a halo, I think, is meant to be.
It's probably supposed to be some saint or something.
Could be. Saint Spikius.
Yeah.
My Emperor is a Favio, a Native American Favio, who's never smiling ever. He's always just grim looking.
I mean, I think he's actually native to the area that's India.
Anatolia, so Turkish. If he's anything, he'd be like Persian or Hittite.
Yeah.
Which is why I've always wondered why the Imperium doesn't look more like Dune, you know, like more Middle Eastern, because he's from the Middle East. Instead, it's all Roman.
Although we have to remember that he's not necessarily from the region where the palace is.
No, I mean the palace is built into
the Himalayas.
The Himalayas, yeah.
Or the Himalaysians,
yeah.
I like how they changed the names of things
Yeah,
just a little bit because of the fact that it's been so
so
long. They don't
long.
remember the right name anymore.
Um, I love. There's one where it's one of the Space Wolf books, and he's been sent as a guard to guard some Navis nobility, and he stares in his cot in his room, looking up at the ceiling, and he's like, "This is Earth. This is the ancient cities of Atlantios and Newark, York."
Yeah, and America,
Yeah, Murica Technocracy or whatever the hell it was called.
American technocracy. Yeah.
Um, they look like xenomorphs, but we can't get copyrighted because they don't look quite like xenomorphs.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to return to Calderis as soon as possible. Bad Zappa's orcs have gathered for another major strike against the planetary capital. Without your support, I fear Calderis.
Then of course there's the whole thing of people accusing StarCraft of being a Warhammer ripoff. It's like it's
Oh,
because it was a Warhammer game.
oh, for God's sake, you want to get crazy? Have you ever heard of a game called Empire of the Fading Suns?
Heard of?
Look at the opening on YouTube sometime. It's so grimdark, but it is so 40K. The whole universe, it like they just talk like they're in the 40K universe. They look like they're in the 40K universe. The whole plot is 40K. But before anyone says it, Simpsons already did it. The Simpsons did everything. But it's the same principle because
It's true.
40K is a rip-off of Dune and Starship Troopers.
Yeah, but like, the whole origin story behind StarCraft is it was originally being made as a
So 40K.
Warhammer 40K game, but then the Games Workshop just canceled.
So many games, hell, so many consoles started that way. That happened with the PlayStation. PlayStation was going to be made for Nintendo, and then Nintendo worked with Philips, of all people, without telling Sony at a press conference. They just came out with this sort of weird Philips-based device, and Sony felt absolutely mortified because they had built a working prototype, and then they're like, "Hey, why don't we sell it ourselves?" Nintendo kind of regretted that decision.
Yeah, because Sony's been pretty much winning the console wars ever since.
Well, up to the Switch anyway. The Switch,
Yeah,
from what I've never actually held one myself, but from what I can see, it's a very solid piece of tech.
I've got a PS4 and a Switch, and the Switch is a very solid piece of tech.
I mean, I'd have no problem rebuying a lot of games that I have on the PC or on my PS4 for the Switch because it allows I can just go wherever I want with the damn thing.
Yeah,
I
plus
want to play Skyrim on an airplane.
they have a lot of the old classic NES and SNES stuff available on it online,
Nice.
so you can play a bunch of those old classic things.
I want to play. What was it? I want to play Skyrim on an airplane. And while if I got a good decent laptop, I could do that. A laptop's huge. A Switch is no bigger than an old phone. I can make that shit work.
Yeah.
But it'll be a long time yet before I get a Switch. I'll probably even have to get it like second hand when the time's right. Anyway, I'm gonna save here. Uh,
All right. Well, we're off to a good start.
we
We
are
managed to
in
take that shrine during a defense mission.
absolutely.
But
Save and
that's the only chance you get sometimes. Like if you want to take over every single facility, you have to do
that's
that.
yeah. I actually almost got everything first time round without going out of my comfort zone on a
I
defensive
didn't do it
mission.
first time round, but I've done it after that.
It's very hard to get them all, but by the end of the game, you can definitely make that shit work for you when you're fighting like the main orc war boss or the Avatar of Cain, which are just
Yeah.
side missions. They don't really add to anything except maybe giving you a nice bit of tech. Because at that point, you're probably
And
already
some
max
XP
leveled up.
if you're not maxed out. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, Krendar, it was great having you here. We should make
This
this
was
into a
fun.
habit. Um, if not next week, then we can definitely scrounge up some other time. I won't touch Dawn of War if we can do this again because it's much more fun to
Yeah.
have it with someone rather than
I could probably do next week, but I have another show I do with some people where we do a role playing game, and sometimes it gets pushed back to a
Well,
Friday, but not usually.
the great thing about me is I can work around your timetable, so we can make that shit
Oh, you're
happen.
flexible.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime I don't have to do that, we can probably do this,
All right.
which is most of the time. I'm sure.
Well, why don't you, seeing we're on the topic, why don't you show yourself, seeing that you're here?
Indeed. So as a good example of that, in 4.5 hours from now, so I don't know if you personally will be awake still, but for anybody else, such as your buddy Bill there, I will be playing Apsolov End of Gods on my channel at twitch.tv/Krendar's Adventures,
Mm.
which is a sci-fi horror game with a Nordic mythology twist to it. It will be interesting. Started it last night. It was good fun.
Um, I enjoy, anytime I do come to Krendar's, I definitely enjoy his work. So I would definitely recommend people checking it out, especially if you've got no problem going onto Twitch. I know some people don't like changing platforms, but I'm not gonna lie. Eventually, I'm probably gonna move over to Twitch because
Yeah,
that's kind
and
of it's more better for gaming anyway.
and just for the record, if anybody out there does have a big hate on for Twitch for whatever reason, I do keep recordings of the sessions and upload them as videos to YouTube as well
Absolutely, and
over
he's fairly
youtube.com/Krendar. So
mhm, fairly regular with that as well.
one a day, every day.
Hmm. So, and just so anyone in the future knows, I will be having all these links in the description down below. I will do that as soon as the stream is over because I should have done that before. I was stupid, but meh. Um, so anyway, I want to thank Bill for showing up and anyone else who showed up as well. We got a few likes in. If you enjoyed the
Indeed.
stream, do give it a thumbs up. I will be back tomorrow playing something else. Something Dead Spacey, perhaps? Or maybe even Kevin Spacey? No, not Kevin Spacey. Dead Spacey. Dead Spacey. Although Dead Space with Kevin Space might be pretty amazing. Um,
In both ways, things get a little molesty.
Extremely molesty, but nowhere. But Dead Space is nowhere nearly as dead inside as Kevin Spacey.
Despite
Um,
the name.
but yeah, we'll probably be playing that tomorrow. So if you're curious, pop in there. I'll be playing that solo, but all are welcome. Um, all are welcome to hop into the Discord, which you will find the link of down below. That's mine as well as his. Check out my Instagram. Check out my. If you need to contact me with anything, you'll find my email down there. And if you are feeling generous, you can see the stream goal down there at the bottom of the screen. The quicker we get a new phone, the quicker my phone can sit here because we can't go out because of quarantine. But we can at least get that scratched up so we can work on a better PC. So, blah, blah, blah. That's me. I have places not to go and people not to see. So, I am out of here, Krenda. As always, it has been a pleasure.
Indeed.
And see you all again soon.